Love sees. So we're going to be talking about that today. We're in the section called What Love Does and looking at different aspects of how love moves as we're relearning what it looks like to walk in love. And it's a section of the book called Remnant Love. And so I'm going to be reading the section Love Sees, and we're going to talk about it. To begin to see people as the Father does, we must look beyond the lens of our own emotions, our trauma, biases, preferences, opinions, and personal agendas. So in order to see somebody the way that the Father sees them, we have to look beyond our own thoughts. We all have these initial thoughts and ideas about a person, whether it's somebody when we first meeting them, whether it's somebody who we have a history with, right? We have our own things based on our emotions, how we, something has made us feel, based on trauma that we've gone through, with, not involving the person or possibly involving that person, through our own, biases and through our own preferences. We prefer different types of personalities or different types of things. Our own opinions about what we think somebody should or shouldn't do or whatever. And then our own personal agendas. We sometimes have an agenda. We have a purpose. We have, and it's something we have to be mindful of. But we'll approach somebody with our own agenda of what we want to receive from them, or what we want to, what we want things to be. So we have to look at people not through those fleshly things, but through the lens of the Father and how He sees this person and what He's doing in this person's life. We have to come out of the flesh and be able to walk in the Spirit. As children of the Spirit, we have to walk in the Spirit and look through that lens as we're dealing with people. So love sees. Take a moment to see a person and practice appreciating who they are. Recognizing their complete worth involves considering their value as an individual. So we want to look at a person's complete worth. We want to look at how they are full of worth and value outside of whatever it is that we think, and outside of whatever box we put them in. So we want to consider their value as an individual, their significance to those around them in their life, and their role in the kingdom. See, one of the reasons why murder is at an all-time high in the time that we're in right now is that people don't value humans. People aren't valuing other people. People don't place a value and significance. They haven't considered that this person belongs to a family. This person belongs to a community. This person has something of value to offer. This person, is worth something, and people don't consider that, right? People don't take the time to consider people and all that is encompassed in another human, right? And that's in any human. But then when you bring it to the kingdom and you're dealing with those who are playing a role in the kingdom, it says, if they are a child of the Most High, acknowledge them as a vessel in which the very Spirit of Yah resides and communes with. So if you're dealing with a person who has been redeemed by Yah, you're dealing with somebody who the Spirit of Yah, the Spirit of the Almighty Yah is residing within this person and is in communion with this person, right? So when we look at each other, we have to have that type of reverence to understand that we are vessels carrying the Spirit of the Most High Yah, the Father who we worship, who we say that we love and we worship. This person is in communion with them, is in relationship with them, to where He resides within them, right? Right. So not only are they an image bearer in the sense of being another human being that the breath of life has been breathed into, but this person is in communion with the Almighty. So how it says, how can you say that you love Yah who you have not seen, but you don't love the person that you see in front of you, right? You see them. So if you see them, if we really appreciate and understand who Yah is, and we know that He's residing in this person, then we should walk with that same type of reverence, right? And when we're dealing with each other. So we want to see a person. We want to truly see a person. Acknowledge the fullness of a person, their spirit and their humanity. We want to look at a person's acknowledge that they are a spirit and they have a humanity, right? They have their own traits as a human, and they are a spirit, right? I am a 40-year-old woman of color, 40 plus year old woman of color. I'm 45 now. I am a 40 plus year old woman of color, and my humanity has many complexities to it, right? My humanity has a lot of complexities to it, and all of it is of significance. I see, I've heard people use we're talking about race sometimes, they'll be like, I don't see color, right? Which I understand and appreciate the sentiment of that to mean, for the most part, I don't judge somebody based off of their color. That's what people typically kind of mean. But it kind of gives the sense of like, I don't, I'm not looking at you based on your color. Or some people mean it in that sense. Some people mean it and take it to the extent of color doesn't matter. Like, I don't see your color, and which takes it to another extent of like, you don't have to ignore my race, my ethnicity, my color. It's not something that needs to be ignored. It's something that is of value, right? It's a little shadow on my face. The sun is shifting, but it is of value, right? Everything about me makes me me, right? So you don't have to ignore it or act like you don't see it and try to look past it. Like, it is a part of who I am. And of course, you should not going back to what we said, having these preferences and traumas and biases and judgments, right, based off of those human things, right? We regard each other beyond our humanity, right? Our spirit is beyond our humanity, but our humanity is the vessel that Yah put us in, right? So all of those things, especially when you're in relationships and trying to build with people, right? You take into consideration all of who they are as you're trying to get to know them and as you're trying to build a relationship with them. So, in my humanity, I'm a 40 plus year old woman of color, and my humanity has many complexities to it. I'm also a new creation in Messiah with spiritual giftings and callings, right? So there's that new identity in the Mashiach, in the Messiah, in those spiritual aspects. There's my spiritual gifts, my spiritual callings, right? That we each one have. Each one of us has those. So every part of me is significant and valuable and does not need to be overlooked or ignored. The more you are willing to open your eyes to see a person's unique qualities, the more you can appreciate their worth and value and treat them accordingly, right? Practice celebrating people instead of just tolerating them, especially the people who you choose to stay closely connected to. So practice celebrating people for who they are instead of just tolerating them, right? Nobody wants to be just tolerated, right? Especially for people, sometimes you're in situations where you're just pushing through, you're just tolerating the situation, right? But if we're in a close connection with someone, you don't want to be connected to somebody that you are tolerating, or you don't want to be in a relationship with somebody who they're just tolerating you. They're just tolerating certain parts of you, but they don't really, prefer it. We want to learn and humble ourselves to celebrate and appreciate those things about people, their unique qualities that you may not, may not be your preference, your top cup of tea, it may not be, but we want to be able to celebrate people for who they are. When you are just tolerating people, you'll find yourself, it'll come out in different ways, right? It'll come out in you, you'll say little things and do little things. I'm trying to get this shadow, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it away. You'll say little things and do little things, that will let them know that you are in some type of disapproval, or you're judging, or you're, just trying to change them or whatever. Those things will come out, so you wanna practice and put yourself in a place where you humble yourself and celebrate people. Don't be fake. Like, don't, you know how we do. Don't be fake about it, but, celebrate people and don't just tolerate them. The closer our relationship is to a person, the more willing we should be to see them and to appreciate their efforts. Appreciate their efforts. It may not be exactly what you desired or what you wanted, but appreciate the effort that they are willing to make and the heart behind it. Appreciate their struggles. Everyone has their own unique struggles. Don't continually pointing the finger at it. Appreciate their struggles. Their quirks. People, we all got our little different little quirks about us, right? And when you really have a love for a person, even their quirks and these little things will become endearing to you because you have a heart for them, right? Consider their interest. You may not be as interested in it as they are, but take the time, ask questions about it, inquire, show, at least some level of interest just because you have an interest in them as a person, right? And take interest in what brings them joy and excitement. When you care about somebody, you care about and you pay attention to what makes them excited, what makes them happy, what brings them joy, and you see how you can come alongside that, how you can appreciate that, how you can listen to that, or how you can play a role in participating in that, to help, facilitate those opportunities for them to be in that joy, right? So I would love to say just see the best in people, but I have learned that it's best to see the whole truth of a person, right? So let me talk about this. We say see the best in people, right? Which that applies to certain situations. You want to see the best. You always want to see the best in people, right? We want to look at a person, but see the whole of the person, right? And seeing the best in people. Sometimes if you are struggling with becoming healthy in how we are dealing with people, and if you have some traits that are not as healthy, you will sometimes overlook the other realities of a person just trying to see the best in them, right? So we don't want to just see the best in people. We want to make sure we do see the best in people because we all have our best elements to us. But in seeing the best in a person, you also want to see the whole person. You want to acknowledge the things that are not the best and take note and look at and put it all into context and see the person as a whole. This person has these strengths and these wonderful things. They have these weaknesses and these, strengths. We want to put it all into context and see the whole picture and act accordingly, right? So don't overlook a person's toxic or inconsistent behaviors and only see the best of them. That would be neglectful, okay? See all of what they show you through their actions and their behaviors and move accordingly, all right? Maintaining a heart of compassion, right? We want to maintain a heart of compassion, but we want to move accordingly to what a person shows us, right? If they are behaving in a way that is reproachable, see their woundedness, okay? See their pain, see their sorrow, see their choices, and allow it to move you to pray on their behalf, to be able to have that heart of compassion, right? If you see the brokenness of a person, the first thing we see is what affects us, right? So we're going to see the action that they did. We're going to see the words that they said, right? That's going to be the first thing that's going to strike us, but take the time to be able to also acknowledge what's behind that. What brokenness, what pain are they dealing with? What woundedness are they dealing with? Acknowledge that and have a heart of compassion where you are able to, in humility, pray for the person, right? In humility, have patience with the person, right? Okay? Love covers a multitude of sins, not overlooking them and ignoring them, but looking beyond them to see the bigger picture, to see a person, to see the person, right? We want to look not just at the behaviors of the flesh of a person, but look beyond that to be able to see this whole person as a whole, right? Sometimes we be ready to abandon somebody who, what's the saying that they say, only as good as the last thing they did for you, right? Somebody who has been, as a whole, a great person, but they may be having a particular hard time and you ready to jump ship because of the hard season that they're going through, right? So look beyond to see the bigger picture, to see the person, to see Yah's heart, right? We want to be able to see what Yah's heart is concerning the person, right? So again, putting this in context, this is not to say that you look beyond abuse, that you look past bad behaviors, right? It's just that you take it all into context, right? You see the person as a whole. You don't see the person, in these little fragments and these little broken lenses, right? Through broken glass, through these snapshots, right? Right, we do this with everything. We judge things by snapshots, a photo, these little snippets, little clips. We judge these little things. People will post, clips of people saying things online on social media, and they post a 20-second clip. And you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe. Oh, you hear what they say? La 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 la. But if you go back and look at the whole video of what was being said, you'll realize, oh, okay. And that makes a little bit more sense what they were saying, and that you put it in the whole context, and that you see the whole picture, right? So we have to practice putting things in its whole context. Sometimes the whole context will confirm that you need to get away from this situation, but sometimes the whole context will show you something, different, right? So we don't want to we want to this last part here, but when you don't have enough details and all you can do is assume, then go ahead and assume the best until you see the rest. So when I started off this segment here, where they talked about seeing the best in people, I said don't just see the best in people, see all of the person, what they're showing you. But when you don't have enough details and all you can do is assume, go ahead and assume the best until you see the rest, right? Sometimes we jump to conclusions about people that we don't even know, right? We just because we see a little something, we jump to the worst possible conclusion, and we don't have enough information. So when you don't have enough information, don't assume the worst. Assume the best until you see the rest. Okay, assume the best until you see the rest, right? So give it what they said, a benefit of a doubt, until you're able to gather information. So the moral of this is, to be able to see and take the time to see. Love sees, right? Love takes the time to look at the whole picture, to look at the big picture, to take everything into context, to pay attention to the details, pay attention, to, the whole of a person. That's what the Most High does for us. That's why he loves us so well, because he looks at the whole of us, right? He doesn't judge just moments, right? He deals with those moments, but he doesn't move based off of single moments, right? He takes the whole thing into consideration. For some of us, that's going to be for our good. For some of us, it's going to confirm that we're not going to be with him, based on the whole of the situation. So he's going to look through and past and look at the whole picture. And we have to grow into being more like that in how we are engaging and dealing with our relationships. So the prayer here is that, Abba Yah, give me your eyes to see the way that you see. Help me to see your treasures hidden within the people that I encounter. Help me to see your treasures hidden within the people that I encounter. And the declaration here is that I appreciate the unique qualities Yah has placed in the people around me. That's a declaration. We got to say that. We got to say that when we're irritated. We got to say that when I appreciate the unique qualities that you have placed, Yah, in the people that you have placed in my life, right? I appreciate these qualities in them. They have unique qualities. You formed them the way that you formed them. You love them, right? Remember that Yah loves them. If Yah can love them and we're becoming more like Yah, then we can love them. If Yah can be patient with them, then we can learn to grow in patience with them. If Yah can take the time to, to see, then we can take the time to see. If Yah can act in humility, right, then why can't we walk in that same humility even more? Being flesh, who has to be also dealt with, and people have to cope with us. People have to, deal with the things about us and die to their flesh. So this is a mutual submission. It's a mutual dying to ourselves so that we all can live and we all can grow and we all can thrive, right? Hallelujah. So this again is the next this is the chapter called Love Sees in the book Remnant Love. This is the section, is towards the back, called What Love Does. And it's, you know, it's one of the last sections of the book, Remnant Love. It goes through the 4 flows of love. The first flow is receiving Yah's love. The second flow is loving Yah in return, returning that love to him. The third flow is dealing with loving ourselves, standing in that love and how it relates to us, right? And once we build that home and that safe place, it informs how we love each other. And the book goes into how we walk as a body of believers, and then what love does, which is what I'm reading now, and then it goes into some of the challenges of love in the next section after that. So check out the book Remnant Love on remnantlovebook.com or on Amazon. And I will see you in the next video. If this is your first video, then go back into the playlist and check out some of the other videos, and see you in the next one. Shalom.